गणपतये नमः। ॐ सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारम् व्याप्तं येन चराचरम् तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Let us take in Shiva Shakti in 5 deep breaths. Om Shiva Shakti 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 Ati Madhura Chapahastam Aparimitām Modabāna Saubhāgya Arunām Atishaya Karunām Abhinava Kula Sundari Vande. Lakarini Labdharupa Labdhadhir Labdhavanchita Labdha Papa Manodura Labdha Hankara Durgama Labdha Shaktir Labdha Deha Labdhaishwarya Samunnati Labdha Vriddhir Labdha Leela Labdha Yauvana Shalini Labdhatishaya Sarvanga Saundarya Labdha Vibhrama Labdha Raga Labdha Pati लब्धनानागमस्थिताम् लब्धभोगा लब्धसुखाम् लब्धहर्षाभिपूरिता So today we are coming to Srichakra, the third Bijakshara La of Shakti Kuta. La has been coming in every Kuta. So there are 60 namas for this Lakara. In the first Vagbhava Kuta, Devi puts the seed of spirituality. So she blesses for the accomplishment, acquiring that spiritual knowledge, and also success, victory. In the Madhya Kuta, Kamakala Kuta, she again blesses to retain that seed and sprout with more strength in it. So sustenance of that spiritual knowledge is blessed in the Madhya Kuta. In the third Shakti Kuta, she gives the knowledge as phala. It was bija in the Vagbhava Kuta. In Madhya Kuta, it sprouted and it has grown as a beautiful plant. By the time it comes to the third Shakti Kuta, it has grown as a beautiful tree and giving the phala to the aspirant sadhaka. In what way? Annihilation of duality. And also the afflictions of Maya, which is tormenting in so many different ways, that is handled by Devi. So the combination of all these three are pushing the aspirant towards liberation. Sakala Reem. So what happens when that realization of self happens? Because of the presence of that La, which represents Kshiti, Indra, and also Hari, Vishnu. Shankaracharya puts it in Nirvana Shataka. Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham. So that is how the aspirant feels, experiences his own self when he comes to this La. So Lakara has that capacity in it. Labdharupa, one who attains the Rupa, the form, because of, firstly, Shiva creating Devi as different entity to carry on the work of the universe. Labdharupa. So she has that Swarupa which is given by Shiva. Labdharupa. Not only that, during the process of liberation also in sadhaka, he wishes to have the vision of Devi. At that point also, she takes the form as the aspirant looks forward to, and she presents herself in Agnya Chakra or Anahata Chakra with a Rupa, Labdha Rupa. So what we can understand here is, it is Shiva, the pure consciousness, which is giving rise to the form as Shakti, who is none other than Shiva's own Shakti, which is bliss. Shiva is the pure consciousness, knowledge, out of which the form comes as Shakti, which is bliss. The combination of the knowledge, that is spiritual knowledge, and bliss, Shiva Shakti together, is liberation, the experience of Brahman. Labdha Rupa. Labdha means attaining, obtaining, acquiring, perceiving, accomplishing. So, even gained, apprehended. From this Nama onwards, everything is weaving around Labdha, Labdha. So, Devi is one who has attained the Rupa. That is one perception. Another perception, aspirant, through Rupa, he can obtain Devi. Got the point? Whatever Rupa, the forms we are seeing around, if we are able to understand the essence of that form, Rupa, the aspirant obtains Labdha. He becomes Labdha of that Devi in form. Labdha Rupa. So it applies to both Devi herself as well as the aspirant. So you will see how in Kakara, everything was around Kameshwara, and Devi is taking us, she's dragging us towards Kameshwara. Isn't it? In so many different ways. In the same way, Labdha, through accomplishing it, through gaining it, through obtaining, in different ways, different forms. She is making the aspirant much stronger with the spiritual knowledge. Labdha Rupa. Labdha Dhi. One who has that intellect. Here, the intellect is the universal intellect which Devi is possessing or projecting. And this Dhi is spiritual thoughts, meditation, when it is connected with the aspirant, or supreme knowledge. All are connected with Shiva, who is Brahman. So, Labdhadhi, she has that intelligence which is very much speaking about Shiva, the pure consciousness, which is Brahman. In another way, she plants and nurtures this spiritual knowledge in the aspirant, because from the perspective of aspirant, he cannot go directly to Shiva. Pure consciousness. Think of it practically. Being a human being with this physical body and the mind, which is always moving around from thought to thought, and the intellect, which likes to do its own homework of analyzing, discriminating different things. Even though it is narrowed, it wants to apply that. So all these are under the control of Devi, Shakti, as Prakriti. It is possible to meditate or even to think of consciousness, Brahman. All the spiritual thoughts can come, can be conceived, can be perceived only through the mind and the intellect as the ladder. So for that, Shakti is the one. Unless we become very one with Shakti, it is not possible to reach to Shiva. One cannot bypass Shakti to reach Shiva. In Saundarya Lahari, again, Shankaracharya talks about this point. One has to go through the Shakti to reach to Shiva, because they are inseparable, and Shiva has given the all power to Shakti, who is taking care of all the three bodies of the Jivatma, through which he is interacting, he is developing, evolving. So she makes sure that she puts the seed of that spiritual knowledge in the aspirant, because of which he shows the desire to surrender to Devi, to starting to do the puja and then meditation, and then making Devi as the focal point of his life. Isn't it? So by this, she makes him become more and more aware of his own self, which is Shiva. So it is she who gives that intelligence to go step by step. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, the mind which is very pure knows how to surrender, and because of that, he will not get entangled with all the deeds he is doing and the ego. And we should also understand there is difference between liberation and merger. Devi works on both liberation and merger. Liberation is all the karmic account is exhausted, and once he leaves the body, because there is no any more karmic account left, he is liberated. However, he will not come back, take the rebirth for that purpose of accomplishing the leftover karma. But if there is need of his presence, according to the will of Devi, he takes birth again as a sage or as a guru he accomplishes whatever he has to do to the whole world, to the whole society. And during that Janma, as Guru or Sage, he will not accrue any karmic bondage. Once his purpose is done, he is taken back. That is about liberation. Merger is ultimate, where he just gets annihilated in Brahman, and there is no more birth, or there is no connection with this manifested world at all anymore. That is merging with Shiva, merger. So Devi takes care of the aspirant in all these levels. Once he reaches that merger level, she brings the aspirant in touch with Shiva, where he becomes Shiva himself as Brahman. So Labdha Dhi. She has obtained Dhi, that spiritual knowledge, universal intellect. In the same way, Dhi, one who has that spiritual thoughts and the knowledge, Labdha, that aspirant gets Devi. So it is both the ways, even in this. Labdha Vanchita. Vanchana, Vanchita is the desires. Labdha, she has attained all desires and everything is totally accomplished. That is very true, because the whole universe is her own self. So there is nothing more for her to fulfill the desires. Labdha Vanchita, whatever she has desired, she has acquired it. More than anything, she has acquired Shiva. She has become one with Shiva as Ardhangi. That is the ultimate desire, longing, what she had, and she got it. Labdha Vanchita. In Brihadaranyaka, it describes about a person, a sadhaka, who has attained that knowledge of Shiva Shakti. Once the mind is filled with the happiness of being embraced by his wife, that person doesn't know anything, whether it is outside or within, is totally lost in that bliss, being embraced by wife or beloved. Like that, when this aspirant, sadhaka, is totally embraced by Shiva, the self, he doesn't know what is there all around him, what is there within him. Nothing exists for him other than just the bliss. I would like to remind here Sadashiva Brahmendra. He is Avadhuta. He used to be always in that Brahmavastha. He used to be in that bliss. When once the army of king mistakenly cut off his hand, but in spite of it, he kept on walking further, as if nothing has happened. Means what? He was not aware of the body also, that his hand is cut. So this Brahmavastha Labdhavanchana, when it is there as desire and then zeal, when that desire becomes so strong, the zeal to be one with Devi, and then it becomes like longing for her, longing, when will I be one with you? When that becomes stronger and stronger, Devi will be available to him and he becomes Labdhavanchita. All his desires are fulfilled. In what way? By giving the ultimate desire which he is having. Kanchi Periyavar, he also says, for all of us, it is not very easy to meditate upon Devi and to go further through meditation. So then are we left alone? No. He says, no doubt it is very tough, but one has to take the first step of surrendering to the beautiful feet of Devi. That anyone can do it. As we keep surrendering to Devi's feet, those feet itself will become the very focal point of meditation. Somehow that feet make us become one with it, and the mind keeps running towards that. From then onwards, he keeps growing to that extent. No more he would need the feet, but he would have become one with Devi. So one has to take the first step of surrendering, taking her feet. Labdha Papa Manodura. Labdha Papa Manodura. Papa Manodura. She is away from that mind which is repeatedly, perpetually doing the sinful acts. She's away from Labdha Papa Mano Dura. So the mind which is always engaged in committing the sinful acts. There are so many sinful acts. It can be a sinful act connected with the society, connected with the nation, connected with this world, connected with nature, other animals, or with one's own self also. So there are n number of sinful acts which are taking place. When it is done repeatedly, perpetually, she stays away from those minds. It is the mind which is making that person perform the sinful acts. So she is away from that mind itself. Not the person, but the mind itself. How does she do it? Simply by not giving that mind a chance to surrender, submit to Devi's feet. Pranantum stotum va kathamakrita punya prabhavati. Isn't it? So one has to do the punya, even to bend down, do the namaskara, or even to say the stotra or the japa, one should have had some kind of punya. Only then it is possible. Only that mind runs towards Devi, isn't it? So simply she won't give that mind to the sinners. So they keep going more and more towards doing the sinful acts. When it becomes too much, that even sinner will not be able to handle those sinful acts anymore, then he surrenders. I can't handle it anymore. Is there any way I can come out of? When he is ready like that, she gives the mind. Labdha Papa Manodura. This way you see it in Lalita Sahasranama also. Papa Nashini. She destroys the Papa committed by the devotees. Papa Nashini. Why does she do it? Because the devotee has surrendered to Devi. Unknowingly, when he is doing some sinful acts, she takes care of that because the intention is to liberate the devotee. So when that sinful acts are obstacles in the path, she takes it away. Papanashini. How does she do it? Paparanya Davanala. For the forest like Papa, she is the one who puts it off. Even in Chandogya Upanishad, it says, Papmana Praduyante. The Papa is burnt away like the grass. So she is there to help us, the aspirants. If we are ready to take her guidance, her protection, she is all there as mother to take care of. Labdahankara Durgama. Labdha Ahankara Durgama. It is just impossible for the egomaniacs to go near her. One who is pumped up with ego. Ego gives rise to the self-pride, arrogance to a very great extent. So here we should understand there are two types of ego. One is essential ego. Every Jivatma needs, they have to have this essential ego to interact in the world. One has to have that ego to make himself as a person. To be a person, he has to have a label. So he is having that individuality to interact in this world. It is essential ego. That is fine. There is another type of ego which is inflated ego, boosted ego, non-essential ego. That we normally see it in certain kind of gurus or the practitioners who make sure that Devi is kept in the altar so high. I am the very small person. So I submit myself totally to her. With this distance, maintaining the distance, boosting the distance, they keep doing number of hours of puja with pomp and making sure that I am small, I am small, I am small, I am this. Devi is so high, Devi is so great, she's way beyond there. By reinforcing this distance and the duality, we are making ourselves more and more stronger to be in the second circle, which is rebirth. So, Devi is not for that. She wants the Jivatma as long as he is in the body consciousness, the mind consciousness. I am this limited body. No doubt, he is very, very small when compared to the whole second circle. The first small circle is very small, no doubt. When I am conscious of myself being that body, we have to submit ourselves to the grandeur of Devi as the whole second circle. However, there is a point, common point here. Devi is very happy when that sadhaka comes out of that difference and is able to get into this circle and become one with her. For that, she aids him to do. How is it possible? He has to come out of that notion that I am the body, I am the mind. He has to come out of it. He can't reinforce that I am the body, I am the mind, I am small. First circle. She is the second circle. It won't help. So once he comes out of that, she makes him get into the second circle. Once he is able to expand himself from this small circle to the second circle as the whole Vishwa, there is nothing else left for him. He has become Shakti. When he is that Shakti, Tvamevaham, Ahamiti Vibhavaye Bhavani. That also comes in Dhyana Shloka of Lalita Sahasranama, isn't it? So, Devi, who is surrounded by Anima Dibhiravrata Mayukaihi, Ahamityeva Vibhavaye Bhavani. So, Devi is surrounded by all those siddhis. Those siddhis are nothing but the Mayukha, the rays coming out of Devi herself. And I am that Devi Bhavani in non-dual way, when the aspirant is ready to accept, live, grow, she will be really happy. And she gives the connection with Shiva, who is pure consciousness. So, even in Lalita Sahasranama, Nirmada, this pumped up ego is non-essential. It is not needed. And she doesn't have it. She doesn't like that kind of distance and puja with so much of extravaganza. She likes one doing the puja within, secretively. She's a very coy person. So she likes the puja or the worship or the prayer or japa, which is done within. She becomes one with that person, aspirant, and she is ready to guide them to become that merger all the way. So she is nirmada. She doesn't have that pumped up ego. Madanashini. She takes away that mada. That nama is also there. Then Hrimati is also there. That is where it says Hrimati. She is very coy. She is very shy about getting pampered with so much of external puja and keeping the distance. She wants to be one with the aspect. So, Labdhahankara Durgama. She is not available. She cannot be obtained because she stays away from that type of pumped up ego. Labdha Shakti. Labdha Shakti. She is an embodiment of all powers. First of all, she is the Swatantra Shakti, the independent, unique power of Shiva himself. Chit, Ananda, Ichha, Jnana, Kriya. All these 5 powers which are ruling the whole universe. He gave the authority of that to Shakti to take care of the whole universe. So she has all powers in her. Labdha Shakti. And another is Sarva Shakti Mai. Wherever you see any kind of Shakti, in any devatas, in any living being, any kind of Shakti, it is she. It is her Shakti. So she is Labdha Shakti in that way as well. She is the power of devatas, including Trimurtis, to perform their duties. So she is Labdha Shakti. Not only that, in another way we can understand her ministers like Varahi, Shyamala. She is in the form of those ministers, and also Dasha Mahavidyas, 10 Vidyas, Mahavidyas. Even in them, it is Devi who is present. So, Labdha Shakti. Another way of seeing it is, whenever a sadhaka recognizes any kind of Shakti as Devi, he becomes Labdha Shakti, because Devi is obtained in the form of Shakti. Labdha Shakti. Labdha Deha. Deha is body as an instrument. Labdha Deha, no doubt, she got the whole Vishwa as her Deha, Vapu. And also, Shiva is the soul. Sashiva Sahari Sendra Sokshara Paramaswarat. It comes in Narayana Sukta. Shiva is the soul for which she is the Deha. And in Shiva Manasa Puja, Shankaracharya refers to Atmatvam Girijamatihi. That Mati is nothing but Sukshma Sharira. So, Sharira Graham, if Shiva is the soul, she is the body. So, even in that way, she is Labdha Deha. She has attained the Deha. In a poetical way, we can see it as the minute she sees Atma as Shiva, she envelops him, she embraces him as the three bodies in living beings. That way, all of us are walking, working Shiva Shakti as one being, Jivatma. It's a beautiful way to live also when we know Shiva is there as soul and the whole body, Sharira Traya, is Devi. So who am I? I am Shiva Shakti. I am Shiva Shakti. I am Shiva Shakti. Labdha Deha. Labdhaishwarya Samunnatihi. Aishwarya is wealth. Samunnati means the utmost, the highest, grandest wealth. Labdha, she has obtained, she has acquired. Which is that? As Nirguna Brahman, that Aishwarya Samunnati is Shiva. She has him as her own self. Chidananda Rupi, she is. The Chit is Shiva. Chidananda Rupi. As Saguna Brahman, the whole universe, beyond the whole universe, whole manifestation, there's nothing else. And she is that. She is the queen of that, the ruler of that. That is one way. When we see it as an aspirant, as Jivatma, she is. Shakti is the ultimate wealth one can obtain. Isn't it? Once we have her, readily she gives that Shiva Jnana, because she is mother of the whole universe. So it makes us feel more and more like the child of Devi. Labdhaishwarya Samunnati. And it is very true also, even with mothers, biological mothers. She will be having food after so much of work. She will be dead tired. And the child would have already been fed with food. And it would have played around when she is doing the work. And when she is sitting to have the food, the child comes back and that child starts eating her food. But she is happy. She is very happy to share her food with the child. If that is the case with biological mother, who is also a Jivatma, think of Devi, who is the universal mother. When the child goes to that mother, Devi, what does she have? She has the whole universe as Saguna Brahman. And she is ready to give that to the aspirant who is her own child. And as Nirguna Brahman, even at that point, I have Shiva, Samunnati, Aishwarya Samunnati. When the aspirant goes to Devi, Ma, I want that Shiva. Give me that Shiva Jnana. Naturally she gives. Because after all, she sees the whole universe as her own child. Shankaracharya has beautifully referred to this point also in Saundarya Lahari, which we all have enjoyed so much. And then Labdha Vriddhi or Labdha Buddhihi, that version is also there. Labdha Vriddhi, one who has obtained the progress, Vriddhi, success, progression. Labdha Buddhi refers to the universal intellect. So let us look into this Labdha Vriddhi. In Brihadaranyaka, it makes it very clear that Brahman doesn't have waning and waxing, which happens in this universe. So it is so with Shakti also, because after all, she is Shiva Shakti. She is Brahman, who is Nirakara Nirguna Brahman as well as Saguna Brahman. She has that capacity to be both. So, Labdha Vriddhi, there is no waning and waxing. It is always there as Vriddhi, abundance. It is there all the time. Vriddhi. For one to have the grace, like the progression in the life or progress in the spiritual upliftment, wherever there is progress, one should see it as the presence of Devi in the form of progress. See in how many ways she is giving us the chance to see her, to experience her, to recognize her, to realize her, to feel the happiness and the joy. But we forget it. The minute we see some vriddhi in our life, we straight away start enjoying it as though I have achieved it, as though it is mine. But we should recognize, because Devi is in that form of vriddhi, I am able to experience it. So when I recognize that, I also become Labdha. That means Shakti is available to me in the form of Vriddhi. In the same way, Buddhi also. Many times when we choreograph something, as an artist I'm saying, after many years, when I look back into those choreography, I feel, is it me who has done it? It's too good. Would my mind work in that way? Or even the poetry. Is it really possible to create like this? It's not me. It is something else which has made this poetry come into light. So, recognizing at every stage, which is true, because this human brain is very, very limited. When we go into the dimension of Devi, we realize to what extent one can really expand. Vriddhi. And then Labdha Leela. She enjoys the games, the play of the whole universe. Srishti Sthiti Laya Tirodhana Anugraha. They're all nothing but game for her. That she has, Alabdha. She has acquired that capacity to create, to sustain, to annihilate anything so playfully like game, Leela. So whenever there is any Leela, recognize it as the presence of Devi, who is in the form of that Leela. And in Brahma Sutra, there also they say, creation is Brahma's pastime. So that is how this whole universe. So as aspirants or even devotees or even ignorant person, if we are able to realize whatever is happening in our life is nothing but the drama enacted by Shiva Shakti, it makes us face the situation with so much of equanimity and pleasantness. Labdha Leela, that is what she is teaching us. Ma Trishati. Labdha Yavvana Shalini. Labdha Yavvana Shalini. One who has that Yavvana, the youthfulness, which is becoming more and more intense. So her Yavvana is so intense and it stays like that eternally. How come? She is beyond any of the modifications which the Jivatmas go through, because she is not affected by Kala and Desha. She is not victimized by time and also the space. So she is beyond. She is the one who is creating those modifications, but she is not touched by it. So, Labdha Yavvana Shalini, if one is able to recognize that Yavvana, the youth, as the presence of Devi, he becomes that Labdha. Means he is able to experience Devi as that youthfulness. Because there is so much charm both in their actions, even in youth. We can see it. There is so much of newness, new ideas, new thoughts, new way of handling the situations. If we are able to recognize that in a very positive way, it gives so much of happiness and joy to see the youth. They are like that because of the presence of Devi in the form of that Yavana in them. So Devi is all pervading. And when she is that Yavana Shalini, she is giving that Amsha to the Jivatmas aspect. She is Nitya Yavana, Vayovastha Vivarjita. These are all the namas in Lalita Saharshanama, which conveys the same meaning. Even in Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Aham Ajaram Puranam. Aham Ajaram. There is no old age for me. That is Brahman who is saying it. Shakti is that. Ajaram. No old age for me. Puranam. I am eternal. That means beyond the limitation of the time, Kala. Labdhatishaya Sarvanga Saundarya. Sarvanga Saundarya. Her every part, every limb is beautiful. Is it just beautiful? Atishaya. Atishaya means too much, uncomparable, to such an extent, supreme beauty in all her forms. So when we take her as the whole universe, it is perfect. It is with nice rhythm and harmony. Also, it is perfectly set. It is the individual minds which are vikala, which are tainted with illusion, maya, is seeing it as broken pieces. So we see it as imperfect at points. But when we go beyond this duality and the maya, one can see, experience the whole universe as a beautiful form of Devi, Shiva Shakti. And even when she appears, manifests according to the desire of the devotee, even in that form, she is extremely beautiful. Sarvanga, all her limbs, all parts of her is Atishaya Saundarya. She is beautiful. So in another way, as an aspirant, sadhaka, Devi Upasaka, wherever there is beauty, at once we have to recognize that beauty is nothing but the presence of Devi. And the mind should show that wonder, bliss, which goes through in the mind, for which one should be thankful, grateful for being so beautiful. It can be beings, human beings, or the emotions, or the relationships, or the animals, or the plants. It can be anything in any way, or even the knowledge. Recognizing and experiencing the beauty in all these different aspects should be our perceiving view. When I keep looking for beauty, slowly the whole universe will start becoming beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Because I am recognizing that beauty is none other than Devi herself. So I become that labdha. I have recognized, I have achieved, I have accomplished to get the knowledge and realize that Devi is in the form of this Atishaya Sarvanga Saundarya. And then Labdha Vibhrama. Labdha Vibhrama. She surprises, baffles the whole universe through her way of functioning, way of manifesting herself as the whole universe. She baffles, she surprises. Not only that, she makes us become deluded as well. Not being able to understand what the truth is. Because she's so playful and so quick that we don't recognize what the truth, what the essence of each and every form is. Labdha Vibhrama. So again, when an aspirant or the upasaka realizes that the whole universe is the game or the play, that Vibhrama will not affect us so much. We will be stable to face the situation. When we know that it is Labdha Vibhrama, it is her game, it is her way of doing things. So she must be having something in her which is going to be too good for me. So it is the game which she is playing as part of the much bigger game, which will also be beautiful. So it is all game. And then Labdharaga. She has obtained, she has acquired raga. Raga means the desires, love, affection, and also feelings. These are all the things she has towards Shiva and also towards all the beings created by her. Did you understand? She is using that raga which she has obtained, Labdha raga. She uses it on Shiva. Because she is so affectionate, loving, caring, and having feeling, good feeling towards Shiva. She is one with Shiva. And because of which the whole universe is able to have the experience of Shiva Shakti as the parents of the whole universe. They are taking care. That oneness is helping them. So she becomes Shiva Kameshwarankasta Ardhangi and also Shiva Swadhina Vallabha. That is towards Shiva. She has that raga, Labdha raga. Towards the devotees also, she has raga pasha. She uses raga, that affection, love, feeling as the pasha. Pasha means the rope to pull the devotees, the aspirants towards her. So what does she do? How that raga is used as the rope. The raga, the desire which the aspirants have towards the worldly pleasures and the objects. She destroys that and she fills the raga towards herself in aspirant. How beautiful it is. She creates that raga, the new raga in the aspirant. I desire to do the puja of Devi. I desire to meditate on Devi. I desire to do japa on Devi. I desire, I long, I have the zeal to make Devi, Devi, Devi as the focal point of my life itself. I want Devi. That desire she puts, pumps up into the aspirants, to the upasakas. And she pulls them through that desire towards her. She uses it. And even to make sure that the world is working, it is still sustained, she uses 5 kanchukas, isn't it? Those 5 kanchukas, the constituents are Kala, Avidya, Raga, Kala, and Niyati. So these are the 5 things which will make all the beings being pinned in this universe. There, for that purpose, she makes sure that raga, the desire, attachment towards worldly pleasures are deep rooted in all beings. Because of the desires in them, they are all sustaining themselves to be in this world, taking rebirths again and again. But when the Jivatma is ready to come out of that cycle, when it wants to come out of that cycle, for that purpose also she uses the raga, the same raga, but in a different way. She takes away that worldly pleasures and the attachments from the aspirants, and she pumps them with raga towards her. How strong and foolproof it is. It works. That is why we are all sitting in this Trishati classes, isn't it? Labdhapatihi, one who secured, attained Pati, Shiva as her husband. Here in Brahmanda Purana, it's beautiful. In Lalita Mahatmya, she says to other gods who are there, I have been living throughout with my wishes and whims. I want a husband who befits my way of working, my way of living. I want only that husband. I'm a free bird. I have been like this. I am ready to marry whose conducts befits me. So it is Kameshwara who comes in a beautiful attire and very handsome, brought by Brahma and Vishnu. And she got married to that Kameshwara. Labdhapatihi. Another meaning, one who has Shiva, the consciousness, as her protection. In the sense, because Shakti is always Shiva Shakti. Shakti is Shiva Shakti. So she is embedded by that consciousness. So she is able to maintain herself as Chidananda Rupi and also pervade the whole universe as Chidananda Rupi, because of which the universe is working with so much of good harmony and rhythm. Labdha nanagama sthitihi. She is there in agama. That too, nanagama. Many of the agamas. Agamas are the traditional doctrines which are handed down from generations. For example, building the temple, how to worship, the different paths of worship, all are documented and they have been passed on, agama. And it is one of the types of knowledge which is attained through agama, because the source of agamas are highly reliable and it is taken as pramana. So in all these agamas, Devi is very much present in the form of all the alphabets, the jnana, and the factual information in it. So, even in Brahma Sutra, it says, Shastra Yonitvat. Shastra Yonitvat. The source of Shastras being Brahman, it becomes Pramana. When that is the case, one can certainly see that Labdha Nanagama Sthitihi, her presence in all the agamas, which are dealing with different aspects of the universe. In all, she is present. Labdha Bhoga. Labdha Bhoga. She who has attained the enjoyment and the experience of all pleasures. All pleasures. When she is the whole manifestation, automatically Devi is the one who is creating those pleasures. She is the one who is making sure that all those objects of the senses and the mind are retained. And she is all pervading as well. So when this is the case, there is nothing which is not touched by her. So she is Labdha Bhoga. She as Saguna Brahman, she is enjoying the whole manifestation as her Bhoga. As Nirguna Brahman, her Bhoga, her enjoyment is Shiva. So in both the ways, she is enjoying and she is pleasurable all the time. Labdha bhoga. So when sadhaka is experiencing the pleasures of the five senses, objects of the five senses, food, and then the beautiful forms or the beautiful scenes, nature, and then the touch, soft touch, cool air, the fragrance, and the music or the good soothing words. At all these points, if we are able to recognize that these are all the presence of Devi. So whatever he's enjoying becomes the presence of Devi, experience of Devi in the form of bhoga. It's a beautiful way of experiencing the life itself. It becomes like a bhoga, exactly like Devi is enjoying the whole universe. Labdha sukha. So the previous was labdha bhoga. One should experience all pleasures as aspirants also. But recognizing the presence of Devi in that form of bhoga is important. And this next nama is telling us how that is possible. Because she is labdha sukha. Sukha, ananda is very inherent quality in Brahman. It is one of the important aspects of Brahman. Be it nirguna or saguna, it is sat chit ananda rupa. So Devi, having that bliss, she is the personification of bliss. Labdha sukha. So as Saguna Brahman, being there in every being present in every being, whatever sukha we are going through is because of her presence. See, as ignorant jivatmas, we recognize and experience the sukha in our life. But that bliss, the spiritual bliss, ananda, which is akhanda, brahmananda, that we are not able to do it like we do it with sukha. So, labdha sukha, Trishati is telling us, even in sukha, try to see Devi's presence, because that sukha is one of the facets of bliss in this physical world. So when we are enjoying the bhoga, we do get the sukha. So when we are able to recognize that bhoga as Devi, recognize sukha also as Devi, and that Devi is none other than Shiva Shakti, activated consciousness. So to what extent this Trishati is making us understand and go in the direction of Shiva, who is nothing but Sat Chit Ananda. to reach there, Devi, through Trishati, she is making us understand all the experiences what we go through in this world is also directly connected with Shiva Shakti. Shiva Shakti. The more we become aware of it, the closer and closer we go towards realizing Shiva, who is the self. Labdha Sukha. Labdha Harshabhipurita. Labdha Harshabhipurita. She is filled with that superior quality of happiness. Sukha, Harsha, Ananda. They are all different levels of joy. So, what can we understand by this? Devi is present in all levels, be it ignorant, Sakala, we studied about that. Even in that person, even in that animal, even in that plant, wherever there is Sukha, it is experienced as the presence of Shiva Shakti. And then Harshabhipurita. One who goes to the next level and feels it as Harsha, the joy. Sukha is somewhat connected with the pleasure and it is dependent. But this Harsha goes directly into the mental body, which is the mind, joy. That joy is of supreme quality. So, Labdha Harshabhipurita. So, even here, by giving us or by making us go through the namas which are connected with different levels of joy or bliss, she's making us understand, grow, 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 expand yourself. When there is drought and the rain falls, the joy which gives is Harsha, because it is making the whole place filled with water, and the plants will come, the people will have water to drink. So the connection with that rain falling is more expanded. Or when the nation faces any positive experience, the whole nation, then also the joy which everyone gets is Harsha. Whereas if I get anything connected with me as an individual or with my family, that becomes Sukha. So there is difference in the way we experience Sukha, Harsha, which is more expansive, and the bliss is altogether covering the whole manifestation itself, and it goes beyond. Bliss, Ananda. So we can understand by this how the joy also multiplies. In Taittiriya Upanishad, it says there are different types of happiness which multiplies. What human beings feel as sukha or the happiness or joy multiplies 100 times to get the same happiness as Prajapati. It multiplies by 100. What Prajapati is experiencing, the happiness, that multiplies by another 100 times, which is bliss. So this reminded me of this whole labdha, labdha, labdha. This nama, japo jalpa shilpam sakalamapi mudra virachana. In that mantra, we see there are two types of understanding. Japo jalpa. One way of understanding is whatever I utter with ignorance, jalpa, let it become Devi, your japa. Japo jalpa. As we grow spiritually, we understand that even serious japa is also nothing but jalpa. It is just uttering the japa. But I can go even beyond. Devi is beyond even that nama rupa. When I want to experience her as nirguna nirakara brahman. In the same way, japo jalpa shilpam sakalamapi mudra virachana. So in Tantra Shastra, they do the mudras to get connected to Devi through mudras. One way of understanding is whatever hand gestures I am doing, let it be the mudras to do your worship. Another way is, as we grow spiritually, even those mudras will become nothing but the movement of the hands. In the same way, the pradakshina, wherever I walk around, let it become your pradakshina. But when I go higher, I realize even pradakshina is nothing but the action of the body and the mind, which is concentrating on Devi. But I have to go beyond. So like that, there are two ways of understanding. Even in this labdha, 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 one refers directly to Devi. Labdha raga, labdha shakti, labdha dhi, and then what else? Labdha rupa, labdha leela, labdha yavana, labdha vriddhi, labdha vanchana, labdha sukha, labdha raga. All these things we can understand in two ways. One referring to Devi herself directly, one who has acquired all these things. Another way is when the aspirant recognizes, realizes, and experiences the presence of Devi in raga, bhoga, sukha, whatever he is experiencing in different ways. In all these experiences, those experiences are possible because of the presence of Devi in that particular way, particular forms. So, in this way, certainly worshipping Devi internally, internalizing Devi, becoming one with Devi, will make us go through life filled with the experiences of Devi in different ways, through all the five senses, through the mind. So let us all hope that Devi gives us more and more intuitive knowledge to realize and live it. Let's all pray for that. Shiva Shakti, Shiva Shakti, Shiva Shakti Om. 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 Shiva Shakti, Shiva Shakti, Shiva Shakti Om.